So, on the eve of the televised game against Middlesbrough, Wednesday has put out a statement about supporter behaviour. And the timing... Supporter conduct reminder. Following unacceptable incidents before and after our game against Ipswich Town on Saturday, the Elves issue a reminder on supporter conduct. One individual defaced a banner belonging to fellow fans and was immediately ejected from the stadium. This individual is now subject to the full club sanctions and potential legal actions. The club were also aware of disturbing and violent video footage circulated on social media following this fixture and advised anyone who can identify the culprits responsible to report directly to the police. We condemn such actions in the strongest possible tone and distance ourselves completely from such behaviour, which undermines the club's commitment to providing the safest possible environment for all supporters attending fixtures at Hillsborough. We reiterate that any individuals seen to be contravening EFL ground regulations will face immediate club sanctions and the full force of the law when necessary. The EFL, Premier League, FA, FSA, PGMOL, I think that's referees, LMA and the PFA have come together this season to implement a series of measures to address behaviour across the game. This includes new policies, procedures and regulations to eradicate unacceptable conduct, together with enhanced sanctions applied to anyone identified entering the pitch, using pyrotechnics, taking drugs to games, throwing objects, missiles towards the field of play, or displaying any discriminatory abuse. The new measures build on the work launched last season to combat dangerous and illegal fan behaviour, supported by Love Football, Protect the Game, football-wide campaign to which Sheffield Wednesday adhere absolutely. Now I did a Saturday night video, early Sunday morning video, and I talked in that, you might remember if you've seen it, if you haven't you watched it, come on, pull your finger out. I talked in that about the way things are at Hillsborough at the minute, the playing side of things, results, the new managers come in, whatever, the ticket pricing, and negativity that's surrounding things both on and off the pitch. And I described it and said I could see it becoming a perfect storm. Little things coming together. Now this statement that Wednesday has just put out, it's all in one statement, but there's three separate parts of it that I find very interesting. And I find it very interesting they've all been lumped together. Now I'm going to start with the middle section. The middle section which talked about fan violence. The club are aware of disturbing violent video footage circulated on social media and advise anyone who can identify the culprit responsible to report to the police. Now that I fully understand and I get that because I've seen that footage myself. Kid walking down the street suddenly starts getting pasted by about 8 youths with hoods up, you know. I know there'll be people, you don't know background. I'm not bothered about background. It's 7, 8, 9 people jumping on one kid. That's not for me. Not a fighting man anyway. Can't be with a face like this. But that's in there. But the opening to the statement, and the opening's always the most dramatic bit, I think that's the bit that they're trying to make the key point about, is actually about the bloke defacing the banner of Chancery at the back of the Kop. The full force of the law. A bit harsh. He's defaced a banner that belongs to the fans. If it belongs to the fans, why the club getting involved? Or is it a club banner? If it's a club banner, why mention that it belongs to the fans? So that's a bit odd. And then the last part of that is the interesting part, really, for me. Other than poor old Bannerman getting banned from ground. The last part's the interesting bit, which I'll just read out. So it goes through FA, PFA, blah, blah, blah. And then a very specific note to mention these regulations and procedures. Apply to anyone identified entering the pitch, which as we know is what Blackpool fans over here when they weren't happy, and the Coventry fans. Using pyrotechnics, that's by the by, taking drugs, understandable. and throwing objects, missiles towards the field of play. Now that is a procedure that's in place, that is something that has been put in for this season. It's got nothing to do with some kids on the street pasting another kid, does it? But if you're talking about violence on the street outside ground, why would you still mention entering the pitch and throwing things? Because clearly they've got wind about tennis ball gate, haven't they? Which is penciled in for tomorrow night. So is there going to be extra security? Is everybody going to be patted down? It's a while since I've been patted down. It just strikes me as a statement with a lot of different things in it. But essentially it's been put out there to mention the two things. A, don't be demonstrating against the chairman by scrubbing at his banner. And B, don't be thinking about throwing tennis balls onto the pitch when we're on telly. No, I won't have anyway because I'm too laid back. Most I ever try and sneak into the ground is a bit of battered black pudding because I can't pay prices for it snap there. But then this statement comes out, they lump it all together. They lump in spray banner man in with some kids who physically attacked somebody in the street. I mean, they're two things, you could say criminal damage, I suppose, with a sign. That's not in the same league, is it, as getting somebody right pasting? But it's trying to meld it together and say it's completely unacceptable. Protest unacceptable? I mean, it was a pretty peaceful protest, really. All he's done is spray paint and something. I mean, 2 summers ago, we had people spray painting Winston Churchill, didn't we, down in London? We had people toppling statues, spraying left, right and centre, putting shop windows through. He's sprayed over the top of a thank you sign. Full force at law? Bit much for me. And then, like I said, there's that bit at the end. That's the full warning for everybody. Don't even think about it. I don't think a lot of people are going to anyway, if I'm perfectly honest with you. Like I said, we're a very laid back sort of folks in Sheffield, but I do feel like that statement is a warning shot across the bows from the club saying, keep your gob shut, bend over and keep paying these prices and keep watching this dirge of football where we don't have a shot on goal and stop complaining about it. What do you think?